In the previous episode of WT News, we talked about the Nothing Ear 1. Well, the launch happened, and there was not a single mention of how they sound or how they had been tuned. There was lots of talk about lifestyle and talks about tech, but that was about it. Physically, I think the design is actually really fresh and bold, albeit while still being just another STEM-style earphone. But one thing that really doesn't sit well with me is their availability strategy of releasing the product in batches at select times and select locations instead of making them generally available. Maybe it's due to manufacturing delays, but it does come across as artificial scarcity to further milk the hype. As you can imagine, they have found their way into the hands of several big-name influencers, all of whom have given them glowing reviews, despite them seemingly offering nothing more than any other sub £100 earphone that is already on the market. Well, DMS managed to get hold of a pair, and his review is frankly damning for the product as a whole, with some buggy tech features including odd ANC and ambient sound behaviors with weird channel imbalance issues and connectivity problems, a cheap and creaky feeling build, not to mention a rather poor tuning lacking detail. So on the one hand, we've got people out there claiming that they beat the AirPods Pro, which is bold claims indeed, but the reality of this product is nothing like the hype. Realistically, they are a £99 earphone, so their real competition is from the likes of Soundcore and One More, as well as others, are companies producing fantastic earphones in this price range, and Nothing are simply unable to keep up, even in this price bracket. Well, it's like I said in the last video, CarPay and Nothing are masters of building up hype, but it seems like that's all it was. And to answer myself from the previous video, it seems like they are, after all, a whole load of nothing. I previously reported on an upcoming new budget IEM from Moondrop called Quarks, and they are out now. The design is a rather old-school barrel shape and fixed cable idea that you might have seen in the earlier days of consumer IEM-style earphones. The Quarks are described as closed anterior cavity microdynamic driver in-ear earbuds. They also feature a transparent design which highlights how this front or anterior cavity design works, with a dynamic driver and a cavity located right at the front of the body shell up by the nozzle and nothing but wiring at the rear end. I'm guessing that the closed anterior cavity will provide more bass from the fairly small 6mm driver, but also provide more isolation than a more open design. I don't know what to think of the Moondrop supplied graph. I'm gonna say that it might look a bit shouty, so we're gonna have to wait and see what graphs look like from other people, like Clinical for example. Still at a cost of just £10, which is a crazy low price. This is in impulse purchase territory, so even if they aren't all that, it's not like you'll be out of pocket all that much. Staying with Moondrop, and Moondrop has a VTuber. Wait, what? Yep, this is Mitsuki Yuki, Moondrop's new VTuber, and she's very cute, but I've no idea what she's saying, like, at all. I don't know if Mitsuki Yuki will be doing any performances in English, but considering some of Moondrop's fanbase, I don't think that really matters. You know what I'm talking about. What's this? More Moondrop news? Yep, a few days ago Moondrop teased the following on Twitter for an unreleased product called the Nico Cake. Don't crucify me for saying that wrong. Well, I did some digging and I found the following images. It looks like the Nico Cake is a new true wireless earphone from Moondrop that are set to feature active noise cancellation. This is all the info I could find for now, and I'll be sure to let you know if I find anything else. Yamaha have a couple of new wireless options. The first is the YH-L700A, and it seems like they're borrowing a tip from Sony's naming department there. The YH-L700A is an over-ear headphone with a 34-hour battery life, active noise cancellation, aptX codec support, and 3D sound. They should be available by the time this video goes live, but pricing is a little bit on the high side at £450 UK. The other new product is the TW-E3B true wireless earphone. They'll be available in a number of subtle pastel colors featuring Bluetooth 5 with aptX support, and they have up to 24 hours of battery life including the battery case, and an adaptive volume level function which automatically adapts to your environment, keeping you at a safe listening level. The specs seem a little bit generic these days, but these ones are coming in at a lot more reasonable price of around £120 UK and will be available in September. At that price it could be something worth looking out for, but we're going to have to wait for some reviews to come in to find out. This is the FIIO FD3 and FD3 Pro, and I love the look of these. They have that tin hi-fi style barrel-shaped body, which is made from an aluminium magnesium alloy, hand polished with a pattern on the back that's covered in a glass film. It's certainly a very premium looking design, and it's a design that's quite unexpected considering the price point of only £80 UK. They feature a semi-open design with a single 12mm dynamic driver that has a diaphragm that is apparently made from a diamond-like carbon, also known as DLC. The FD3 also features a swappable sound tube or nozzle which can be used to adjust the tuning. There are two models, the base model FD3 and the FD3 Pro, which comes with an upgraded monocrystalline silver cable that has interchangeable connectors including 2.5mm, 3.5mm and 4.4mm plugs. As previously mentioned, the pricing is pretty reasonable at £80 and they're available in all the usual places. This next one is an IEM with an interesting concept. The NF Audio NE4 Evolution or NE4 Evo is a quad driver IEM featuring 4 balanced armatures per ear. The NE4 Evo also comes with 3 swappable faceplates, but these are not just for looks. Each faceplate houses crossover circuitry that allows you to tune the IEM to taste by changing the behavior of each balanced armature. The red faceplate enhances the bass frequencies, the black for a reference tuning, and the blue for a transparent tuning, whatever all that means. On paper, it's a cool idea and gives the user a chance to tune the IEM to their own tastes. We've seen similar ideas before. We have IEMs with selector switches or swappable nozzles. There was also the new X1 with socketable modules, but I don't think we've seen one with such a neat implementation as swappable faceplates. As to how this all works out in reality, we'll have to wait for the reviews to find out. Pricing is around £550 in the UK or $750 and they're already available. I previously reported on Microsoft's Xbox wireless headset that cost just $99. Well, Microsoft are now releasing a wired-only version. The Xbox stereo headset features the same physical design with the same 40mm drivers, but just lacks the wireless connectivity, instead coming with a 3.5mm jack. And for this trade-off, you're going to find yourself with an extra $40 left in your pocket over the wireless version. The Xbox stereo headset is available for pre-order now on the Microsoft Store and will set you back $69.99. Austrian Audio have followed up their previous monitoring headphones, the YH-65, YH-55 and YH-50 with some new, more portable designs. The YH-15 is a closed-back headphone that they say is a workhorse daily use headphone, and the YH-25BT is a similar portable design but also featuring a Bluetooth connection. Much like the previous models, I actually like their physical designs. You've got deep ear pads, a folding design and metal yokes, and it looks like they should be quite durable, which is ideal for a monitoring headphone. The previous models were not too well received among audio enthusiasts due to their price to performance ratio being a little bit weak. These new models are coming in at much cheaper prices. The YX15 is at around £90 UK and the YX25BT at around £135 in the UK. Both of these prices are much more reasonable, although that does put them squarely in competition with the AKG K361 and K371, and that is pretty stiff competition. Audio-Technica's headphone the audiophiles love to hate, the M50X, has a new Bluetooth version. The ATH-M50xBT2 is a new version of the previously released Bluetooth version of the M50X. Basically, it takes the same Bluetooth headphone and updates it with more modern features. It's been a few years since the M50xBT came out, and it was about due for a refresh. The M50xBT2 now features a USB-C connector rather than the micro USB on the previous model. It has been updated to Bluetooth 5 and now has LDAC codec support. Battery life has also been improved up to 50 hours versus 40 hours on the old model, and charging time has also decreased considerably from 7 hours to 3.5 hours for a full charge. Whatever you think of the M50X, it has been a hugely successful product for Audio-Technica. The M50X is a very portable package that became incredibly popular at a time before good Bluetooth headphones were mainstream affordable. Updating the M50X to a Bluetooth version was the next logical step for Audio-Technica, keeping it as a relevant modern product. And with the M50xBT2, they have modernized the product once again, thus making sure it stays relevant for a few years more. Pricing is £180 in the UK, which is actually £10 less than the previous model. There's a lot of great headphones out there for that kind of money, many good Bluetooth headphones for a fair bit less than this, so value is looking a bit poor on these. However, I can personally vouch for the durability of the M50X. It really can take a beating, so that's a consideration if you are looking for a portable headphone to sling in your bag and carry with you everywhere. That's more than you can say for the AKG K371BT, which I absolutely would not recommend to anyone, and I'll put a link up in the top corner so you can see why. Dan Clark Audio, formerly Mr. Speakers, have a new flagship headphone. The Stealth is a closed-back headphone with DCA's new 4th generation planar magnetic driver, which is 20% larger than their E2 driver. They also feature what DCA calls their AMTS or acoustic metamaterial tuning system. This is a device that sits in line between the driver and ear, and according to DCA, integrates waveguides, diffusion control, quarter wave and Helmholtz resonators into one compact structure. Specs aside, this is one sexy looking headphone with a mix of titanium, aluminium and carbon materials, black leather suspension headband with red accent stitching and carbon fiber ear cups. It's also really good to see that DCA takes comfort seriously. Getting a closed back headphone right is really difficult. However, from what I've read, DCA generally does a pretty good job at it. Now, there are measurements out there for the Stealth already, and they don't look too bad. But as much as I am very interested to find out, a price tag of $4,000 means that the DCA Stealth is definitely not on my shopping list. But maybe I need to get hold of one of their cheaper models to try out, so if you have any recommendations for which model to check out, leave that down in the comments. Audeze have released another new headphone. This one is a little bit different to the others and a little bit special. From what I've seen of this, it's more of a flex or a tech demo than a headphone that any mere mortal is actually going to buy, unless you have a spare $4,500 to hand. The Audeze Carbon, spelt CRBN and pronounced carbon, is a high-end headphone featuring an electrostatic driver with a polymer film diaphragm that's been impregnated with carbon nanotubes. The whole design has come about as a result of Audeze's work creating a device for MRI medical applications. They then adapted this design to an audiophile headphone. What makes it classically Audeze is the big and bulky design, and yet they managed to make them weigh just 300 grams, and that's very unlike Audeze. This is all achieved in the build with a mix of lightweight magnesium metals and carbon fiber parts. This is a really special headphone at the cutting edge of technology, so don't expect this to have general availability, as each individual unit is made to order with a minimum 4-week lead time. Right, that's it for this episode of WT News. I hope you found this interesting or at least entertaining. I'll be back with more news whenever there's news available, and make sure you subscribe for more news and reviews. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a good one.